What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gotti's Garage, and in today's video hopefully we're finishing up this engine, but as you can see there's been a lot of work done to it. I'm going to spare you the boredom of showing me painting it and sandblasting parts, which are over there, but we definitely got a lot of new parts that came in and more that we're going to be putting on too, so we can finish it up. But today's video is proudly sponsored by MercureMidwest.com. They graciously sent us a brand new looking power steering bracket, also a new alternator, well, used alternator. My alternator failed the test at the parts store, whatever you want to call it. It failed the test, so I needed the new alternator anyways, and he went ahead and threw that in the box. And then, as you can see, we bought an eBay turbo manifold, which turns out to be a bottom mount turbo manifold. So I'll flip it over here in a second so you guys can see. But my plan is, I wanted a top mount turbo manifold, but the issues that I'm running into is the turbo drain, which you probably have to run somewhere down this way. And this, by the way, I'm not using this turbo. This is the factory Mercure turbo. Using a GT 3582, which is substantially bigger, and that's why we went with the other manifold. The dash 10 line is gonna have to run down here, probably into the pan, because right here is the factory oil feed location. I spent $20 on this fitting just for me not to be able to use it, but it's just not going to work in that location. Also, when the bottom mount configuration, it's way too low for that anyway, so we're going to have to make a drain into the oil pan, which is above the baffling. It's pretty simple. I'll show you a knot. I don't know if I'm going to do it by a weld one or a bolt-in one. I'm not sure. But if we do end up running this manifold in this configuration with the bigger turbo, I have to wait until I get the turbo. It's at my parents' house. We can then test fit it to make sure that it will work in this configuration. And then my plan is just cut the wastegate dump right here, or the wastegate flange off right here, and we'll get a hole saw, drill a hole right here. We'll use my TIG welder, which, precaution, I am a shit TIG welder, so it's not gonna look good at all. But we'll be able to get this welded over here. That way the turbo dump's coming down the exhaust side how we want it, so we can either run it as the atmospheric or run it back into the system. And then we'll use the hole that we cut out of here to weld this up. Gonna block that off. But we can't do any of that until I get the turbo here, so I can make sure it actually all works, because I don't want to cut something up. But I'll go ahead and switch this over real quick so you guys can see what it looks like with the bottom mount. So this is actually the first time me seeing it with the turbo on it, and this actually might work as well. The only problem is intercooler pipe right here is going to be fairly close to the runners, and then spark plugs are going to kind of suck to get to, but it's still possible. But as I was saying, the oil drain, you can see right here how low it is, and they come right here because oil drains gravity fed, so they need to go straight down. But at least with this configuration, I'll be able to go straight down like this, avoiding the manifold with the AN line. Hopefully in this video we'll have the turbo that's going on the engine. I feel like there's definitely enough room, but I don't know for sure if there's gonna be enough room for the freaking where the frame rail sits. I wish I had the car here. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip over the next process. But the next process, I'm gonna be just painting and stuff like that, getting more of the engine back together, and then but I'm gonna skip over the process and be painting, sandblasting, and stuff like that, because it is getting repetitive at this point. And we'll get straight back to where we're starting to put more stuff back on the engine. Alright, so we got the turbo on the flange spacer right there. I just got it held on by some vice grips. So we can see the clearance right there, which definitely brings it up over this runner. The other thing is, since I have to cut this flange off anyways, to cut this off at least nicely, I can actually rotate this 5 degrees. At 5 degrees, we'll clear this. Everything will fit without that spacer. And then also, if you look at this bracket right here, this is like a little support bracket that they welded on, and you look right up, you can see the turbo drain, and it's a little too close. It actually hits that, and it's not gonna be able to work. So if I clock this 5 degrees, then it actually clears that as well. The only problem, regardless, is spark plugs are gonna be hard no matter what. No matter what I do. So the turbo's always gonna have to come off to do these front 2 spark plugs. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, is just cutting it off right here, rotating this flange 5 degrees, cutting this off, putting it in the back of here, and that way we don't have to cut any more supports off, because I would like to keep that on there, and I want to add some more as well. I want to have one probably on the bottom here so it can support everything up possibly, or even the flange. So apparently it breaks right here at the flange. Is there the common spot that it breaks? It's the same with the wastegate. So I want to add a support holding the flange to the block instead of the flange being held on by the flange. So flange to the block and then wastegate to the block as well. That's kind of my plan. Then we got to put the motor mount on, make sure everything clears there too. I bought this, which I've used in the past on my Honda stuff, and basically you drill a hole in the oil pan above any baffles, higher the better, because you want it above the oil level. Drill a hole and you make it this size, you stick that in, and then you can go ahead and on the inside of the oil pan kind of just tighten this down, and this has worked really well in the past, so I'm going to go that route instead of welding one. And we have all these dash 10 AM fittings that we can kind of make work. I have a couple more, I'm pretty sure, somewhere. Right here we have our AM line. The next problem we have is this motor mount actually hits right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shave a little bit of material away on the motor mount itself right here. That way we don't have to damage the header. But if we have to, we can just bend that runner and it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then this motor mount is going to have to be put on before the header can be put on. And then the exhaust, perfect straight out, no big deal there. And the feed, which is coming today at some point, I want to get a shorter feed line because this is a too long of one. But yeah, that'll be everything all good there. Alright guys, sorry this is going to be a very long video because this manifold is not going to work. So I'm returning this manifold and I just ordered another one. Now it's going to be here sometime next week. And the reason why this won't work, I mean there's plenty of reasons, but the main reason is this spark plug. So yeah, it's going to be a bitch to change the spark plugs, but in order to get a spark plug wire in there, which protrudes out, you know, at least up to here, it's not going to fit. I'm going to have to cut down the spark plug boot, which I don't really want to do. And on top of that, you know, like the drain issues, all that stuff. So the new one that I ordered kind of has a turbo set back this way, and instead of it being a top mount, it's kind of like a side mount. So it's closer to the block, and it shouldn't come out any further than this does already, I hope. The only downfall is this other manifold does not have a external wastegate, so we're gonna have to weld one on there. But I can at least return this, and you know, we might not have to make a new drain. This one actually might work, hopefully, but we'll see when that comes in. So we're gonna pause the video, and for you guys it's gonna be a second, but I gotta wait a week, so see you then. All right, it's been like a month since we got back to this engine. This manifold has been here for a while, but things at work have picked up, so it's, you know, work's time consuming. Plus also we got into a couple other hobbies, so this thing is just basically sat. But here's the new manifold, and it's really tight with the head, and it runs back, and the turbo sits right here. And I believe that there should be enough room in the engine bay for this. I know the shock towers are on here somewhere. This turbo definitely needs to be clogged because the drain is facing this way. But with the drain straight down, we still can't use that. So I'm gonna have to block that off, and no matter what, we're gonna have to put a drain in the pan, which I will do later. Timing is all set. I just have to sandblast like the spring and stuff like that to make it look nice. But that's all set. Then we have the new power steering bracket that goes with the alternator. And like I said before, we got a new alternator right down there, and that is from Mercure Midwest. And here is their website right here. They got all parts catalogs and stuff like that. So say you need a, you know, ignition for a 2.3 XR4 Ti, distributor cap new, they have them used and all that stuff. They have tons of parts. So if you guys have an XR and you need parts, definitely go ahead and hit up this website. Couple other things, spark plug holes are easily accessible now. I just did notice that this flange kind of overhangs a little bit, so I might have to shave that down. But other than that, we are able to get to the spark plugs and the wires. The charge pipe, this is loose right now, but it's probably gonna have to go something like this, some way that will work, but we won't know that until it's in the car. And then we got a clock, like I said, in the middle. But the feed line, which I'm gonna order a shorter one, feed line will go right there, and I think this is gonna be an ideal setup. And then also the down pipe and everything is straight back, so we'll be able to put a wideband sensor and everything, as long as it fits in the car. If not, maybe it goes into a Ford Ranger. And Jeff will do you good. So he has sponsored this video, and that is why you get the website right down here on the bottom of the screen for the entire video. But I haven't put that stuff on yet, because right now what I need to do basically is put the engine in here, make sure all of this is going to fit, because I'm past the return window for that. But luckily this manifold wasn't too expensive, so I don't even know if it's going to last any longer than the other one, but at least we got one. The turbo's on, engine's looking good besides being dusty because it's sat for a while. Definitely I do not have to buy a new distributor cap, I know that for sure, just because it broke when I was pulling it. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the Merkur XR4 Ti engine build. We got everything basically done except for what needs to be done inside the car to make sure that there's room for clearance and all that stuff. And yeah, hopefully soon I'll be buying a house. We're talking, you know, right now it's just the market is crazy right now, and every time, you know, we go to get something, it's sold before us. So hopefully, cross your fingers that that happens, and then we can start dropping this into the engine and go from there. Also, from the point we talked last time, I picked up or sourced some parts. I haven't bought them yet, but they are waiting for me, and that is a T5 transmission with the bell housing. I need to buy the clutch and everything for that, and then it's going to be the drive shaft. I want to do a single drive shaft instead of that, you know, double drive shaft ordeal. So I can do a single one so it holds a little bit more power. So go ahead and do me and yourself a favor and head over to the website if you are sourcing any parts. Shipping is quick and easy, and Jeff does a great job. You can also hit him up on Facebook with any questions that you might have. And he's a pretty knowledgeable guy, since, you know, this is what he does for a living. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little series. It will come back. And then when we have the garage all set up and everything, we're gonna talk about a different direction with the channel, because I feel like I started making content just to make content instead of doing the things that I actually wanted to do. So we're gonna go back to the old roots of the channel. But that is for another video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave down in the comment what you guys want to see the Merkur become.